Okay, I'm going to introduce layer blending modes, which is a somewhat advanced topic, but I'm introducing it because I want you to know that they are there and you can get some really artistic and creative effects if you play around with layer blending modes. So this is just a very brief introduction, and my hope is that you will look up more about this topic and experiment on your own. So let's go to the Photoshop file. And when we left the hue saturation layer is probably selected on your file. Make sure fish copy is selected. You may or may not have noticed this word normal here. So this is the blending mode, so to speak. This is a normal layer. Okay, it's just a plain old, whatever you paint there or put there, that's what it looks like. Now, if you hit the drop-down menu next to the word normal, you have all these options available to you. And these are all blending modes. Now, what the heck is a blending mode before I even do one? The blending mode, the way to think about it is that it'll change the selected layer. The pixels on the top layer will react to the pixels just beneath it. Okay, so whatever is up here on fish copy, if I change these blending modes, and you'll see how it works, Photoshop is going to compare these pixels, and depending on the blending mode, there'll be different reactions, different, what's the word? Not reaction. Reactions is a good word, but different effects based on what's beneath it. So some of these will be very apparent and some of them won't. And I'll just show you a couple here. So for example, if I choose darken, okay, well that's, pretty obvious what's going on there. But let me choose screen. Now screen will lighten the image. So again, what's happening here, I choose screen on yours because that's what I want. Again, what's happening here is the blending mode is set to screen, and the image, fish copy image, is reacting to the fish image underneath. So with fish copy selected, select the move tool, or you can just select put the letter V to select it, but select the move tool and just click, hold, and drag just a little bit and offset. I just pulled the fish copy layer to the right and down a little bit. Now you will see, if you look carefully here, and I'm going to move it a lot more, like if I move the screen layer off of the fish, the screen layer will not react with the color white, a pure white layer. So you see the blending mode, the image on the blending mode layer depends on the image underneath it. So for this exercise, we're just going to have screen layer, or pardon me, fish copy set to screen, and just pull the fish over to the right and down a little bit just to offset it, just so you could get this kind of effect. And I'll zoom in here so you can see it. And that's all we'll do for this. Now, that being said, okay, so save your file now. So I'm going to do a Command S to save my file. That's cool. Now, to just play around, you can hit the drop-down menu and try some other blending modes just to see what happens. Like which ones react with white, which ones do not react with white. It's interesting stuff, and you can get some extremely. You can be very, very creative with these, and get a lot of really interesting effects if you use it thoughtfully and you experiment and you understand what's going on. So again, all of these in that drop-down menu you saw, you can Google them. Again, Adobe Help is really has really good documentation about how these things work. For this exercise, that's all I wanted to touch on. So get this image here. Again, we're at the screen. And before I leave this video, just one thing is pretty obvious, I think, since we're here. If you hit opacity defaults to 100%, you can hit the drop-down menu and there's a slider, so I could decrease the opacity of any layer. So like I have this like screen effect, you know. Let's say I don't want it that in my face, you know, so I'll just like pull this down a little bit. You know, so that's opacity. So you can use blending modes in conjunction with opacity to modulate these effects. You know, so you, again, if you experiment with these, there's a limitless, you know, combinations, and you know, like, plus, you know, this has like the same image on a top image. Like, so just suppose you had an image of a flower on top of this fish. You could get some really freaky effects playing around with these layer blending modes. So I want you to experiment with that, multiple layers, different images, and different blending modes. Just experiment with that on your own. But for this this exercise, this is what I want here. Again, save your file, and I'll see you in the next video.